Job interviews. Ugh, just saying the words can be stressful, right? Especially if you're in the tech world, where everything is super competitive. It's this high-stakes game where one wrong answer, just one slip-up, could cost you that dream job. But what if you could just take all that risk away? What if AI could make it so you were guaranteed to pass?
Yeah, I mean, what if you had a secret weapon, like an invisible co-pilot whispering the perfect answer to every single question right in your ear in real time? I know it sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi movie, but this is happening right now. And the way they're selling it, well, it's a pretty bold promise.
And that quote you're seeing, that's not me being dramatic. That is the actual marketing copy from a company called Final Round AI. They've built what they call an interview co-pilot, and their whole pitch isn't just about helping you practice. No, their promise is that you literally cannot lose. So let's be clear. This isn't just some random app somebody cooked up in their basement. We're talking about a serious venture-backed business, a business that has basically turned interview cheating into an industrial-scale operation. Yup, $6.88 million. That's how much Final Round AI pulled in during their seed funding. And when you see a number that big, you got to understand, it's not just an investment in a simple little tool. No, this is a multi-million-dollar bet from VCs that this whole cheating economy, it's not just a fad. They believe it's a permanent and very profitable part of the hiring world now. And honestly, that huge investment kind of makes sense when you look at their timing. I mean, they were founded in 2023, right in the middle of the tech winter layoffs, so you have this perfect storm of massive anxiety from job seekers and this huge explosion in generative AI. That big funding round in 2025 from a well-known firm like Uncork Capital basically put a stamp of legitimacy on the whole thing. And let's talk about that branding for a second. God mode. That's really aggressive, right? It's a term from video games, obviously. It completely reframes the whole idea of an interview. It's not a professional conversation anymore. It's a game that you can hack and win. And that really taps into that feeling of powerlessness so many people have when they're looking for a job. Okay, so how does this thing actually work? How does this deception machine get the perfect answers to you without anybody on the other end having a clue? It's basically a four-step dance, and it's pretty slick. First, the app is listening to the interviewer through your computer's audio. Then it transcribes what they're saying in real time. Step 3, it shoots that question over to an LLM that's already chewed on your resume and the job description. And then, bam, the perfect answer just pops up on your screen. It's like having your own personal teleprompter. But, there's always a catch, and this one is a biggie. It takes the AI somewhere between 2 to 4 seconds to come up with that perfect answer. Now, that might not sound like a long time, but think about it. In a normal conversation, if someone asks you, "So, tell me about yourself," and you just stare at them in silence for 4 seconds, that's a huge red flag. It's that awkward, uncanny pause that just screams something is wrong here. And this is where Final Round AI's real secret sauce comes into play. They call it stealth mode. See, a normal browser extension is kind of like putting a sticky note on your screen. If you share your screen, everybody sees the sticky note. But their desktop app is way smarter. It creates this special overlay that's more like a one-way mirror. You can see the answers, but the screen sharing software, like Zoom or Teams, can't. It's been specifically built to be invisible, even if you share your entire desktop.
Okay, so you have this invisible, supposedly undetectable cheat code. That's a pretty powerful product. So how do you price something like that? Well, Final Round AI's business model is basically a masterclass in cashing in on people's anxiety.
Just take a look at their pricing here. That killer feature we just talked about, stealth mode, is only available if you shell out for the Pro or God mode plans. And check out the billing. You can't just buy it for 1 month. No, you have to commit to paying for 3 or even 6 months at a time. We're talking hundreds of dollars right out of your pocket. In that $148 a month plus plan, that's what marketing folks call a decoy plan. It's intentionally a bad deal because it doesn't have the one thing everyone actually wants, stealth mode. Its only job is to make those big upfront payments of $288 or $486 look like a bargain, which locks you into a service you might only need for a couple of weeks. And as you can imagine, this aggressive approach has left a lot of unhappy customers in its wake. People online complain about a super strict no refund policy, even if the software just flat out doesn't work on something like WebEx. There are stories of people getting hit with huge auto-renewal charges, and in some cases, they've had to literally hunt down the founders on LinkedIn just to try and get a refund.
But it's not just the customers who are getting frustrated. Employers and recruiters are catching on, and now they're starting to fight back. It's turning into a full-on counterattack to try and protect the whole interview process.
What we're seeing is a full-blown tech arms race. On one side, you've got the candidates with their stealth modes and hotkeys, but on the other side, companies are rolling out AI proctoring software that can detect stuff like virtual audio drivers. Hiring managers are literally getting trained to spot new tells, like weird pauses or if your eyes are darting back and forth too much. And sometimes, how people get caught is surprisingly simple. There's this one story from the anonymous network Blind, where a candidate got busted just because the interviewer could see the reflection of the AI's scrolling text right there in the candidate's glasses. Whoops. And the backlash is definitely spreading. A student at Columbia University was apparently suspended just for building a similar kind of tool. And the crazy irony here is that all this remote cheating is actually pushing companies to demand more in-person interviews. Plus, there are some pretty serious legal risks, too. If you're in a two-party consent state, recording that interview without permission could actually be against the law. So, where does all of this leave us? The fact that these tools even exist forces us to ask some really big questions about the entire future of hiring.
And this really gets to the heart of the debate. On one side, you have people who say, look, modern work is open book. Developers use Google and AI all day, every day. This just levels the playing field. But the other side says, no, wait, this is straight up deception. You are presenting an AI's words as your own, and that says something really bad about your integrity.
This whole conflict is basically pushing the hiring world down two totally different paths. Path number one is a return to the old ways, more in-person interviews, whiteboard sessions, stuff you can't fake. Path number two is the exact opposite, way more high-tech surveillance with creepy AI proctoring software watching your every move. And the real irony? In this big search for authentic people, both paths could end up making the whole process feel way less human for everybody involved. Which brings us to this final and I think really important question. In a world where a perfect AI-generated answer is always just one click away, what's the value of an authentic human answer? What's the real worth of your own thoughts, totally unprepared and unassisted when it comes to the future of work?